Hello and welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, and this is episode 255. How are you? I'm Mimi Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. I'm your hostess. I know you can figure that because you're clever. I also have tea. I know some people are annoyed by drinking, but settle down. Go get yours. It's gonna be a minute. This week's episode will have shenanigans of the Money Pit variety. That's an old movie with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long in it, if you don't know, because you're youngin'. But it was a favorite. Okay. And it will contain prizes. So if you donated to the podcast during the third quarter of this year, and if you did that via Patreon, PayPal, or Ko-Fi, I drew prizes for you. I just realized I left them over there, so I'll do that later. I have the prize list of people who won, but I don't have the actual thing to show you so that you could choose. And then I also have prizes for folks who donated knitted accessories to be sent out to Maine for the folks who are seeking political asylum and are new to our country and our winters in Maine. So I will do those two things at the end, but I do want to show you the entire, look at this. Are you ready? This is how many things got sent in. Are you seeing this? This is how many hats, mittens, baby booties, scarves. It might also contain some jam and some fat quarters and a beautiful mug that were sent to me because people are so generous. It's ridiculous. It might contain 22 items sent by one human being. So fun. But so yes, I will do prizes. I wanted to tell you though how many we got all together. So between my tiny additions, we have 124 things to send off to Maine. How cool is that? If you're interested in knitting, they are still, according to my person, who is my contact, they are still looking for, well, they're still looking for things, but they do have an extra need for tiny things. So children or baby, I think she specifically said toddler or infant hats, booties, mitts, you know, like the little, just to keep the little hands warm for the toddlers. So if you'd like to donate any of those, you can do the same. You can do so by Claire Parks on her Instagram feed has posted the address. It's a picture of like some pink yarn, looking very lovely. And underneath that post is the address that you can send your items to if you would like to do so. Because I'm going to get these all sent off this week. What? Do you see this? Look. People. Your business card. Okay, there it is. She's Sarah House. Look at that. She has her own pottery business. I'm trying to find. There it is. SKHpottery.com. Thanks, Sarah. People are amazing. I'm not getting you jam, fat quarters. Somebody sent money for shipping. Beautiful. Somebody else offered, and I was like, no, somebody else already sent it because you're all wonderful. Just telling you that. So those are going up, but I wanted to let you know. And again, I'll do prizes for those at the end of the podcast. What else will I do at the end of the podcast? I'll do some shameless self-promotion because I have bags to sell to y'all. There will be shop update on October 25th and November 1st. I was planning to try to get everything done October 25th, but I had to acknowledge this is our fall break. We have 1 week of fall break this year. And so I just had to acknowledge that I wasn't going to get everything done. So I'll have a shop update on October 25th and November 1st, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Or excuse me, I'll show you what bags I have and what day they should be on at the end of the podcast. Okay, so let's talk about it. Shenanigans! Oh, did I say that I would do knitting? I do have knitting at some point to show you. And kind of, a good amount. No spinning, though. But anyway, so let's do shenanigans, though. Do we have shenanigans? Gus is all tuckered out from causing a kerfluffle earlier today. He's had many shenanigans, some of them involving yarn. One of them just a moment ago involving my chapstick, in which he completely chewed up the bottom of my chapstick tube. 2 seconds. How did he get a hold of it? I don't know. I think he's actually getting in my pockets. I'm just saying. Anyway. Oh! Also, I forgot to mention, I don't know what pattern this is, but this is a hat that I made, and I actually really love it, and I'm planning on making another one, but I went back through my library and could not figure out which pattern it was, so I'm sorry that I am a poor hostess in this way, but I couldn't figure out what it was, and yet was not willing to take it off my head, so sorry. Not sorry, but a little bit sorry still. Anyway, so Shenanigans. Let's do the like cute shenanigans. We did just go visit a friend in Berea, Kentucky, which was very nice. We just went down for the day, but they have like a fall festival. I went to the spring festival or maybe it was summer. I think it's summer festival when I was younger with my mom, and it was like a big to do. But this one, I'd never been to the fall ones. This one was much smaller, so I don't know if they're both just kind of smaller overall now. I mean, that has been, like 20 years, things change a little bit. But, so that was nice. It was nice to get to walk through the woods and like look at fun stuff and be with friends, and it was lovely. And we listened to Harry Potter down there and on the way back in the car, which was super cute and fun. I definitely minimized the whining of me and the show. There was a point in Batesville there was down to one lane because they're doing construction. By the way, they've been doing construction there for like 95 years, I think. But so that's like the hour away from our house point. And I just did have a small breakdown where I thought we were never going to get home. Because it's like 45 miles an hour people are driving. And I understand like safety is a great thing. But also I would like to get home this day. So we did have a moment where I thought we were just going to live in Batesville from then on. But we kept going. But then we have totally had house shenanigans, y'all. House shenanigans, health shenanigans. It's all crazy. All crazy all the time. I'll talk about house shenanigans and then I'll talk about health shenanigans. House shenanigans. 2 weeks ago, it was a Monday night. My husband and I were sitting downstairs. I was watching a show on my iPad with headphones on, and he was playing a game, and I think he might have had headphones on, which is weird that we would both be wearing headphones, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. Our daughter had already gone to bed, and I was watching the show, and I thought, what is that sound? And I scooted my headphone off my ear, and I was like, is that a mouse in the kitchen? Because it kind of sounded like maybe, because it's the change of season, and we usually get a mouse visitor at the change of season. And so I thought, that mouse, so cheeky in there. What has he gotten into that's so loud? And then I get up, like take the headphones off, stand up, and like take 2 steps toward the kitchen, and I'm like, okay, that's a raccoon. That's not a mouse. It's so loud. Is there a raccoon in my kitchen? Again, totally possible because there are raccoons living in the empty house next door. I'm like, what the? I walk into the kitchen. We have a ceiling fan in the middle of the kitchen. Water is just pouring out of the ceiling fan, which is very confusing because, as you probably know that ceiling fans don't usually incorporate a water feature, typically, here in the States. So I'm just like standing looking at the fan, which literally is it's streams, it's not dripping. We have had like the door frame that weeped, like some sort of like religious like font. We've had that. This was literally like streams of water coming out of the ceiling fan. So I stood there trying to process what was happening, and then hollered for my husband. Luckily, I didn't turn on the light to find the raccoon, because that probably could have been very dangerous. That would have actually probably been that scene in the money pit where she turns on the light and she, I don't know which one of them does it, and the wiring goes bad, like, all the way. Like, you can see the wire burn out through the whole kitchen. Probably would have been something like that, although it probably would have involved me being shocked to death or something. So my husband comes in and it's like, it's the bathroom. The bathroom's leaking. And I'm like, well, the bathroom is sort of above the kitchen, but not directly above the kitchen, because the way our house is laid out, there's like a full bath upstairs and then like a half bath downstairs, and they are stacked on top of each other. And while that bathroom is adjacent to the kitchen, it is not the actual kitchen. So I'm like, oh, what is happening? So he goes upstairs. Apparently, we've had some sort of failure on the washer that, like, the toilet bowl is like and then there's the tank, right, where the water fills up for the reserve to flush, and there's bolts on either side of the tank. There's holes in the tank that are closed by the bolts in the washers that then bolt it to the actual toilet body bowl part. Apparently, one of those washers has failed in a rather dramatic fashion. And there's just water being constantly poured out because the toilet thinks it needs to keep refilling itself, the tank, because that's how the toilet works. And so it just is literally just pouring water out of the toilet. Then coming down so fast that it's just probably filling up our entire downstairs ceiling. And then finding a hole in said ceiling where the ceiling fan is, and then pouring out of there. So that was festive. So my husband, we don't actually even, and by the way, we cannot actually diagnose the problem at the time of the emergency water situation. We kind of thought maybe the thing had cracked or like something crazy had happened. I mean, I would have never thought in a million years that it was just like a washer that had like suddenly disintegrated. This pause is me trying to process how this could have even possibly happened. Neither here nor there. So he turns off the water. He turns off the water. I have things around the ceiling fan to catch. The water does stop after he turns it off, so it seemed to be that thing. I mean, also there's water all over the bathroom floor, so I mean, seems like that is probably what it is. But you never know. It could be 7 things wrong. But it seems to be maybe just one. So we turns the water off. We put towels down to dry. We put something under the tank because the tank is not empty yet. So we put something under the tank to try to catch whatever is leaking. Because again, we're still not sure where the tank is leaking. Because, water's clear and it's hard to determine where things are leaking when everything is just wet. It's slightly difficult. So he turns off the water. Luckily, we do have 1.5 baths. So there is a bathroom downstairs that we can utilize until we figure out what's going on up there, which is lovely. Hooray. We seem to have the problem under control. We just need to let everything dry out. I put a giant piece of packing tape over the light switch to the ceiling fan to, again, prevent possible death and destruction. Go to bed a little uneasy. Not sure. Just a little uneasy, but whatever. Go to bed. Wake up the next morning. Things seem to be okay. There's not additional fluids in the upstairs bathroom. There doesn't seem to be an arc of any sort being formed by the mice that were not actually eating stuff in my kitchen, but now have swum in on the tide or whatever. And so I go downstairs and I have to go to the bathroom because I'm 41 years old and I have to go to the bathroom when I wake up in the morning. So my husband has already left for work. I come downstairs. He probably used the bathroom with the light off because, like, whatever. I come downstairs, turn the light on in the bathroom, and notice. Again, the bathrooms are stacked on top of each other. Notice that there is a definite bulge in the ceiling. Now, 100-year-old house. There had been a slight bowing of that ceiling because, again, there have been children who have lived in this house. Bathtubs, you know, water gets splashed out, things happen. And so there had been a slight bowing of the ceiling. But, you know, you just live to learn with things. You just learn to live with things and just not ask too many questions and just go on with your day. But apparently, the water pouring out of the toilet tank. By the way, this is all clean water, FYIs. All clean water. There are small things to be thankful for in life. Actually, that's a pretty big thing to be thankful for. The water, once it had stopped flowing so quickly that it was pouring out of the ceiling fan, apparently had pooled in this area of the ceiling. And so I noticed that there is bowing. I mean, okay, the bowing is not the right word. There is a bowling effect in the ceiling, but I do still need to pee. I think you can see where this is going. So I sit down to pee. It's 6:30-ish, 6:45-ish in the morning. And apparently the force of my urination in the morning is enough that it jostles the entire house just enough that the ceiling then falls in. I was obviously not injured. This is not part of the health issue. These are not health shenanigans. Luckily, it is a very small area that's directly over the sink. So the sink was able to catch the majority of the plaster and drywall. That's another story. There's 2 ceilings in my downstairs kitchen and bathroom. There is an original plaster ceiling, and then somebody just decided to put drywall. And I'm not judging them because I probably would have done the same thing. So there is ceiling of both drywall and plaster that goes down. So luckily, between the sink and my yoga pants that are on the floor, we catch the majority of the debris coming out of the ceiling. Yeah. It's good times. It's rather dramatic. Rather dramatic. But, you know, everything's dried out now. We're getting fairly good at repairing plaster. I mean, not like this old house good, but like enough to like keep the semblance of ceilings and walls happening in this house. So those were our homeowner shenanigans. I could use less homeowner shenanigans, quite frankly. I'm kind of over it. And then, speaking of shenanigans though, if you're going to New York Shipping, well, I hope you have an amazing time. I will not be there this year. I think I said that earlier, but I will not be there this year. I will not be at Needles Up. I hope you go because it's a great show full of awesome people. It's free. And you can find more information on Legacy Fiber Arts page. Also, I'm sure on their podcast, which is what I started to say. And it's just so exciting. I hope you have a great time. This is the first year I haven't gone in a few years. And I decided not to go because I was feeling a little stretched thin. I do make all the bags myself, and I am so thankful that there is enough folks wanting one that I can have the luxury of not traveling this fall. But I was feeling rather tired. Like I was just feeling a bit run down. And so I thought maybe I should, that's a big show for me, like in terms of like distance, in terms of getting stuff together, in terms of getting stuff together for the winter holiday coming right after it. Excuse me. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I should take this fall off. And I am so glad I did, because let's lead into health shenanigans. So I don't want to be a medical oversharer, but since we talk frequently and since you know the shop and things like that, I just want to give you a heads up. I have to have surgery on November 18th. Lame. Super lame. So I have to have a hysterectomy. Unfortunately, it's going to be an old school one. It's not the cool laparoscopic one like the cool kids are getting these days. It has to be the old school one, which is super lame, but whatever, it's okay. I'm glad that I have the option of having one to take care of what's wrong with me. So it actually worked out really well. Like, I had no idea that was happening, but I did know my grandmother passed away in the spring. My grandfather has been having increasing mental health issues. And so I knew that, like, it just wasn't, it didn't feel like maybe a big trip was in the cards. And so I'm really glad that I listened to that gut feeling, because apparently it was my gut and this other thing in my body telling me, by the way, totally, it's not cancerous. It's nothing scary. It's nothing that's going to be a threat to my long-term health. It is definitely just a basic procedure that we've been doing for ever and ever and ever. So, but I just wanted to let you know so that I could selfishly ask you to send me some good energy on November 18th. And then also, in case you were wondering, like, if I am kind of off in getting podcasts out, I don't think there will be too much of a problem, but I don't know. It'll just depend on how things go. But I just wanted you to be aware that was happening. Okay? Okay. But I will be fine. Gus is so not worried. He's just sleeping. See? It's gonna be great. Also, turns out that's National Apple Cider Day. So I think that's a good sign that everything's gonna be fine. But anyway, what was that? Where was that going? Okay, that was just to tell you that there might be some hit or missiness in the future. Okay, and then, but there was something else I was supposed to tell you. What was it, Gus? That's right, now I remember. So, in additional shenanigans, this podcast is going to be like 90% shenanigans. In additional shenanigans, also it's fall, y'all. Finally. The weather has changed here in the middle of Indiana. Oh my gosh, thank goodness. And so part of fall is like getting the garden kind of like redone, like ready to go to sleep. And so I went out, we were having this really crazy weather where it was going to be like 80, 85 degrees for a week. And then it was going to be like a frost, or a close to a frost, if not a frost. And so I knew I needed to get out and get all the tomatoes in that were left, get, you know, just kind of try to tidy up a little bit. It's not perfect. I still have some squash. My squash have been sadly unprolific. But I needed to get those kind of like figured out in terms of like, do I need to harvest? Do I need to protect? What's going on? So I did that, which was very good, except that the day that I started, I go out there and I had just taken a shower, and it was one of those situations. I was very dumb. Let me just clarify. I had just taken a shower and I came downstairs and I knew I had to do something for the evening, and I can't remember now what it was. But I was, I was going to make, so I knew I had something to do in the evening. So I had like this kind of small window, and I thought, I put on my kettle to boil. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pop out there. So dumb. I'm just going to pop out there, get those tomatoes, maybe take down some of the vines, and just kind of, you know, get that tomato area straightened up. Now, my garden is raised beds, and so the tomato area is only 8 feet by 4 feet. Okay. It's not vast. It's not, it seems like when you're saying it to yourself while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, that feels like a very reasonable thing you could do in 15 to 20 minutes. Which actually, I really do think you could, maybe. No, okay. No, you couldn't, because it took me half an hour and I still wasn't done. So I'm like sitting there thinking, oh, and I've just gotten out of the shower. So I have a tank top on and like a skirt thing. And I think, you know what, I could just pop up out there because tomorrow it's going to rain and then the next it's going to be super cold. So I should probably go out and get those tomatoes before they get wet, because then that's like another thing to fight against when you bring them in. And yeah, I'll just totally do that. So I get my sheet pan that I'm going to put tomatoes on, or so. Oh no, that's right. I get my reusable grocery bag, because we have rigid reusable grocery bags, which are very nice for picking tomatoes into. So I get my bag. I go out there and I think, do I need to put a shirt on? It's like, no, it's fine. It's October. I mean, it is October at this point. It's October, it'll be fine. Oh my gosh. So dumb. So dumb. Okay, so part of the dumbness is that what I've learned this year from gardening is that I need to be a proactive pruner. This year I was just so excited. We had an extra large, this is the first year we've had a bigger garden. And I was just so excited to see things grow and be prolific and just be excited that there was like fertility happening, that I was very remiss in pruning. I was just excited. It seemed counterintuitive to kill the thing that I wanted to grow. And so I just kind of let everything go super duper crazy. I don't know how, I know, right? That seems like something I would not do. That's not on brand. It's so on brand. So I think, so this, I've realized this like in mid-August-ish, and now it's October. So you can imagine that it's even more crazy than when I realized it. So there is like an actual tomato jungle. Like, it is so tomato-y packed that, yeah, it's just insane. So the reason I want to prune is not only because when your plant's putting extra energy into making plant, like leaves and stems, it's not putting that energy into making the actual tomato. So the productivity is part of it, but also part of it is like pest management. So like I started to get aphids towards the end of the year, like toward middle of September. And so I didn't realize it until they had established themselves. And also like those stupid hornworms. Now I did not have too much trouble with the hornworms, because apparently we are prolific in that parasitic wasp that like backpacks onto them in that creepy way. If you're not grossed out, if you're fascinated by gross things, you can just Google tomato hornworm wasp larva, and it's disgusting and wonderful. If you don't like disgusting, wonderful things, don't look. Because tomato hornworms on them, in and of themselves, are pretty creepy. Especially when they eat your tomatoes. But anyway, so we had a few of those, but again, they just were taken care of right away by these wasps. But anyway, so it's like, it's harder to manage what's going on. Like if things are going wrong, if there's just so much growth that you can't actually like get in there to see what's happening. So that was all to say that when I then went out to do the final pick and cull of vines, it was crazy. Super duper crazy. And apparently not only was it crazy because there was a lot of stuff to like go through and get tomatoes and sort the greens from the reds and what was going to... There was also apparently like a colony of mosquitoes that had decided to bed down in my tomatoes because of all of that wonderfully dense foliage that they could then hide in during the daytime. So when I started to rustle this foliage in a very serious way and start cutting down their homes, they were understandably angered. And their wrath was soon brought down upon me in my tank top and skirts. Now, you can't see the entirety of my body. I am a very fat lady. Like, I am a big lady, and because of that, I have lots of surface area. And so while that's wonderful when planning tattoos or providing shade for loved ones, it stinks when you have angered 75 colonies of mosquitoes because they just feast on you. So that dramatic edit was due to the fact that the memory card told me I had been talking far too long, and in fact had forgotten to delete the last 2 episodes off the memory card. So, yeah. I got so I like had that level of itchiness where you kind of have a little bit of a hissy fit. And so like, let me just discuss like total minor inconvenience in the scheme of things. But in the moment, I had at least 25 mosquito bites that were bigger than a nickel, which probably means there were more than one mosquito bite because they were not like regular in shape. And they were like all along my tank top line, all along like the backs of my knees, everywhere on my calves. But like, it was insane. I came inside, had a hissy fit. First I started to put Benadryl on them, and I was like, this is not working, bounce it off. So then luckily I had that kettle of water that I had started boiling because I thought this was going to be a 5-minute job. So dumb. I, by the way, did not even get done with this job. I got like half of the tomatoes that I needed to, and had cut down some of the vines, and then just like freaked out and couldn't take it anymore. So I had my kettle of water boiling from my coffee that was not to be. And so I used the spoon trick where you put the spoon in the boiling water, get the spoon hot, and then put the spoon on the mosquito bite. Now, don't burn yourself. Or, as I did, burn your partner. Sorry, husband. So, like, if you put it on there and it's too hot to stand, then don't stand it. Like, take it off for a second, let it cool off, and then put it back down. It should be uncomfortable, but should not burn you. Anyway, it kills the stuff that the mosquito shoots into you to thin your blood. The enzyme, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Thanks, Gus. It like breaks down the itchiness enzyme and is very efficient. Now, I actually have, I will not even lie to you, because I am such a smorgasbord for mosquitoes, I actually have this like little German electric pin that you can use, and it's much safer. It's much safer because it will not burn you. It is like designed to be made in such a way that it will not burn you. But the problem is that the heating surface is like a 50th of the size of the mosquito bite I get. That's not true. The heated surface is like, it's slightly bigger than the head of like a ball-headed pin. Like not the little flat ones with the whatever. It's not nearly big enough to heat the entire area of said mosquito bite for me. So I had to resort to the spoon because I needed the entire spoon surface to kill the enzymes. That said, I did get my tomatoes in. Not all that day. But between that day and then I let it rain and freeze almost, and then felt bold enough to go out there in the like 40-degree weather. And my daughter and I got the rest of the vines down. Oh my gosh, though. Okay, so it's super crazy to let my vines get that nuts, but it was pretty cool. Like some of my tomato vine stems are like humongous, like trees. It was so with my little tomato patch this year, I at one point foolishly thought I had planted too many tomatoes. It was so foolish. I forgot that all recipes for canning tomato sauce start with something like, the list of requirements are like 25 pounds of tomatoes. Because it takes a gajillion tomatoes to make tomato sauce. Oh my gosh. They're all water, y'all. FYIs. So we ended up with having 15 quarts of tomato sauce put away. And then we definitely ate at least 4 quarts, 3 quarts. Plus I have a bunch of green, did I say 50? Yeah, 15 quarts. And then I have a sheet pan and a quarter probably of green tomatoes that I think I'm going to try chutney with. I've never done that. I think I'm going to try it this year. So we need to do those still though. My beans suffered horribly from my neglect. Again, I just let them go too crazy. They just put all their energy into vines. We did have some beans, but never enough to like make it worth like canning any of them, which is disappointing. This is the first year I've done runner beans. I've always done bush beans in the past. So The beans were like the things I was worried least about in the garden. Because they're typically the kind of foolproof thing you could grow. Because they like self-nitrogenate. Actually, they don't even, but they fix nitrogen in the soil for other things. That didn't go well though this year. I'm wondering if part of it is because the soil we had them in was too rich in a way, like, and so they just put, again, they put so much effort and energy into growing their plant selves that they did not grow many of their bean selves. And again, that's my fault because I did not prune. I just was excited that everything was doing so well. But my cucumbers did fine with my neglect. Cucumbers lasted up until, I would say mid-August, early September, I think. And then my neglect kicked in. But by then I had like, I mean, what do I have? I have like 30 pints of sweet pickles. Like, I'm good. I let them do their thing after that. Plus they were not getting as much sun because they were in the point between the like prolific tomatoes and the prolific green beans. So they stopped getting as much sun. They started getting some like weird yellow. There's like a million things that could go wrong with cucumbers. So we just let them go softly into the night. But they did really well for us when I needed them. The corn did okay. I'm not great at figuring out when corn is ripe. Again, the beans were problematic. The winter squash was not great. I planted 3 kinds of winter squash. I planted a Hopi blue, which I never saw one of. I planted, it's not kombucha, but I can never remember the name of it. It begins with a K and has a CH in it. It's a little green Japanese squash that I really enjoy. I got one of those. And by the way, I had like 3 Hopi plants, 3 of this other plant. And then I did get 3 so far. I have 3 sweet Georgia candy roasters. One of them is huge and the other ones are very modest in size. So I think they suffered from a couple of things. I think they suffered from a very wet spring, early summer. I think they suffered because we took the protective fencing down around the garden patch. And I do think that they suffered from cats digging them up, or even our dogs, who are terrible. And then they probably needed to be more fertilized at some point because they are heavy feeders, winter squash. So there's probably a combination of things that they didn't go well, but overall, I feel okay. I mean, I'm not like, yes, that was an amazing year of gardening. But this is my first year back to gardening in a while. And it's my first year that we've had this bigger space to garden in. So, you know, not bad. I was texting friends that also do gardening. And they had one of the friends was like, yes, I put up X amount of tomatoes. And I realized that was, you know, like $7 worth of tomatoes or whatever. Like, because, you know, 15 quarts of tomatoes is... even if they're organic, is probably at most, what, $20? Yeah, I put way more than $20 worth of effort into those tomatoes. But, you know, again, you know where it came from, you know how it was treated, you know who picked it, and what their living conditions were, you know who processed it, what their living conditions were, all of those things. There's a different flavor factor. All that stuff factors in. It's just cool. It's a hobby. We all understand that. But it is sometimes hard when you sit and you think like, yeah, I could have just totally bought a whole bunch of organic tomatoes. I've been fine. And will in fact still have to do so because I don't have enough for the whole winter. You know, whatever. The sweet pickles are, you know, I feel like when you're actually looking at like literal cost labor return, the pickles have been a good cost labor return. Applesauce was a very good cost labor return. Everything else was for funsies. Thank goodness we didn't get beans broken in because they were really a poor return on investment in terms of the amount of labor that's required to process them. But at the same time, like, they are way better than store green beans. I just bought a whole flat of green beans that are garbage, the canned kind. Garbage. So, you know, I would know where I would know better than, and I do love white half runner green beans so much. So, you know, I mean, I'll definitely be back next year. And I need to remember prune. Prune! Be adamant about pruning. Don't start about knitting. 7 hours later. Okay, those are probably the ones. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, knitting. Okay. So, I have been working on my Emily Yoke sweater. And I'll put the name of the designer in the show notes. I apologize. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue. And what I did is I actually finished the body. I think last time we talked, I had been working on a sleeve. Okay. So what happened is I finished the body, started to work on a sleeve, realized I was not going to have enough yarn to finish my sleeves of my main color. Here it is. Okay. So this is Juniper Farms Patagonia. It's an organic merino, I think. And I realized I wasn't going to have enough of the green. So I went ahead and blocked it to see, like, again, how much it was going to grow lengthwise to get a good sleeve length. And what I felt about the body length, because I decided mine, unlike the pattern, is cropped. So I realized after I blocked it that it was too long, or it was, I thought, too long. So I thought, well, I probably could take out the hem and use some of that yarn in a sleeve. But then realized the sleeve was kind of close to being done and I had enough. So what I ultimately decided to do was to finish the sleeve in the hot pink just for fun. So I do have a long sleeve. It is kind of bracelet length. I might decide to make it a little bit longer. I can't decide yet. So much indecision, y'all. But so I have both my sleeves done. But then when I tried it on again, because I wanted to kind of sit on how I felt about the length. And also, quite frankly, I think when I tried it on, I didn't have a bra on because, hi, that's the life I live. No bra right now, y'all. No bra. My kid has a friend coming over later, and I do have to put a bra on. Anyway. So, I did decide, though, after I sat on it and then tried it on with a bra, that I would go ahead and shorten it up. So I did take out the hem and I made it about 2 inches shorter. So I need to do the ribbing, but after I'm done with the ribbing, I will be done. So I might do this as a finished object video. I'm not sure yet. But we'll see. So yay. So isn't that cute though? Love it. And I was so concerned when I first was working on the yoke that it was going to feel too Easter eggy, and it did not feel like that when I tried it on. By the way, let's have a discussion between us. What color is this? Wait, here we go. What color is this? This is not one of those trick blue dress, green dress, gray dress. I don't even remember what the thing is. It's not a trick gold dress. Okay, what color is this? I'll give it to you in multiple lighting. I'll put it next to my face. I'll put it over here. I'll put it next to my blue shirt. What color is that? Guess what color my husband thinks this is? My husband knows that this is red. He adamantly knows that this is red. He knows it. It's not up for discussion. This is red. Now, does his job involve colors that need to be coordinated and put together? And does his wardrobe involve that? Because he wears blue jeans 99.99999% of his life. Does he insist on wearing that safety yellow t-shirt all the time? Even when he is in our house and there's literally no risk of him being struck by a car that would not strike him if he were not wearing that color. That's probably not the right sentence I'm using, but you just understand my frustration. Does he think maybe he could be wrong when both I and my daughter are like, no, this is pink. No, this is red. What? What is that? Sorry. That's an aside. Oh my gosh. He did know how to replace the washer in the toilet. He knew how to do that. Red. Not this. This. No, I mean this. This is red. What? Okay. Okay, that's sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Moving on. So what else have I already shown you? Okay, so here's my Trelawney shawl. And the Trelawney shawl is a pattern by Tyne Swedish. I don't have my... Oh, that's right, because I didn't print it. That's why I don't have it here. She has another shawl out, too. Did you see it? I can't remember what it's called now, but it's a semicircular one, which is very lovely. But so here is mine so far. What? Isn't it looking gorgeous? So the purpley brown is Madelinetosh Sock and Wicked. And then the beautiful variegated is another Crafty girl. And it's her base, or excuse me, it's her base shiny sock. So it's the silk wool one. And it's the colorway All Knowing because of the trashy bug fraggle rock. So anyway, I'm enjoying that quite a lot. It hasn't got a ton of progress because it's definitely like that nice meditative. Wow, it smells really good. What is in this bag? It smells kind of rosy almost. It's lovely. So yay that. Okay, so now... Okay, so now things you haven't seen. Okay, so I have this this is not another Crafty girl. I have this Miss Babs Yowza skein. And it's called like Zombie Prom or something. But it is lovely. So I have a friend whose boyfriend's daughter just had a baby. So I made her a little bonnet. I haven't blocked it yet, y'all, but you know. So I made this little guy. And this is TinCanKnits Beloved. Is that what that's called? I think so. Sorry, I have all of my charity knitting in here and it's a little crazy. TinCanKnits Beloved is the bonnet. Right. Isn't it so cute? So it's knit I-cord to I-cord, point to point. Well, that's just the end. Okay. I thought I'd maybe broken a stitch, but it's just the end of the thing I wove in. So isn't it cute? If you're on Instagram, you might have seen pictures of my dogs wearing them because, hi. It's totally how you do things, right? And then I made a pair of booties, and they are the newborn booties, which you can find on Ravelry. And maybe I can tell you who they're made by, but now that I say that, probably not. So they're the newborn booties by Priscillia Uloho. It's Uloho. So the newborn booties. So this is the pattern page. Okay. And it is a free pattern for DK weight yarn. And so look at these. So they are knit flat. So start at the bottom and then go all up and then seam. I did decide to go ahead and just work the ribbing in the round because why not? For funsies. So if you enjoy knitting tiny things, again, folks in Maine could use them. I plan to knit more tiny things for those folks. So yeah, look how cute that is. I'm dying. So I got those done. And then what else? Okay, so then I started, when I wasn't sure what to do with my Yoke Emma sweater, I decided to cast on for my Yorkville, which is a pattern by Mina Phillip, who is the knitting expat. And I'm knitting mine in Peace Fleece DK. By the way, did you see Peace Fleece's new pattern collection? It's gorgeous. There are several really awesome patterns in there. Go Peace Fleece, y'all. So this is all I have so far. So this is Peace Fleece DK and the Sheplova mushroom colorway. And it definitely looks like I'm exactly copying Mina, because who doesn't want to copy her exactly? It's a very similar color to the sweater that she is in her pattern page, or that's in her design page, excuse me. So yeah, what is going on with things smelling weird? This also smells pleasant, but strange. What's happening? Maybe the ceiling falling on me gave me spidey senses. It's all those mosquitoes. Gosh, the combination of the two. So this is how much I have. I have the back. So I cast that on. So yay that. And then one, excuse me, one more thing. And this is exciting because Knit Spin Farm is knitting sock tubes, y'all. What? So Knit Spin Farm has been offering sock tube services on their yarns, but this winter Bill is also going to be offering cranking services for non-Knit Spin Farm yarns. Non-Knit Spin Farm yarns. So if you have some sock yarn hanging out in stash and you're like, oh my gosh, I love opal socks, but I don't love knitting opal socks, you totally send it to them. They'll make your sock tube, send it right back to you. What? It's fascinating, y'all. So I have I have one of their Sock Club Little Known Holidays yarns because it's for Apple Cider Day. So if you don't have yours, I mean, you should definitely have yours. But in case you don't have yours, don't look, I guess. But so I don't have the cuff done, but here's my little sock with the little contrasting heel and toe. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the contrast for the cuff or if I'm just going to use the sock yarn. So that's why this one is not finished. But so that, and so then I have my toe started on my next one. What? Isn't that fun? And she tells you all the names of the apples. She's the fanciest. It's very exciting. I left the yarn tag over there. I can see it. So anyway, so now I have this much left. So I can decide to make shorty socks with it, or I could make some arm warmers with it. I don't even know. It's so exciting. Yay! Very cool. So you can find more information on their website. And that's done. And then, that was it. Yay! We made it. Okay, so let's do shameless self-promotion, and then we will do prizes. Okay, I have to close everything up while we're talking because even though Gus looks like he's asleep right now, he's ready to steal a ball of yarn and chew it up. He's so ready. He definitely stole that little ball, that mini skein ball for my contrasting heel to toes for my Knit Spin Farm yarn. I literally went out of the room. I set my knitting on my side table. I went out of the room to check on the soup, came back, and that ball of mini yarn had been run through the entire house, and not just like it was unraveled and I had to go back. No, it was like completely marled and tangled up. Yeah, I'm still talking about it, Gus. I'm still talking about it. Luckily, I was able to rescue it. It was fine. There was definitely yelling. So much so that my daughter came down the steps and then went right back up them. It was that kind of yelling. Okay, so let's do shameless self-promotion and then we'll do prizes, okay? Okay. So again, updates October 25th and November 1st. I'll show you the October 25th update and then I'll show you the November 1st update. This is tentative, but hopefully correct. Okay? Okay. So, to October 25th. These super cute sock bags. So everything you're going to see today is lined in an unbleached cotton. Right. That's so sweet. So this one is an interfaced quilter's cotton. So there's that. And then I'll show you this. Well, never mind. I'll show them to you in size order. So then in a linen cotton canvas, we have poinsettias. Oh, wasn't it so lovely? I love these colors. Very holiday-tastic. Then Okay, these really have nothing to do with winter holidays, but it was mood, right? Hashtag mood. Do you feel it with me? I will confess, I am not a fan of cats. I am allergic to cats. But I would take Benadryl for life for these cats. What? Do you see them? Okay, so now my immediate instinct was she is wearing a house dress and hashtag house dress life. But this is apparently her coat because she appears to be wearing both her boots and her mitts and a scarf. And doesn't she look dashing? Right? This may have to be a pre-order if you guys are into them, because I really could sew a bunch of her and be okay with that. So cute. Now this bag I will have both in the large wedge and the sweater size, okay? So this is actually one from the past. This is some holiday pajamas. Aren't they super cute? This is a canvas. So I usually do my larger bags on denim or canvas. This one is canvas. Usually with the dark background, it reads a little bit better on the canvas. So hopefully I get close enough you can see a texture. Meow. I don't know. But isn't it super cute? Love it. So the sweet pajamas will be available in both large wedge, this size, which is good for 2 to 3 skeins or sweater. Speaking of sweater bags, so this is the other quilter's cotton option for this update. And it is interfaced with a cotton batting. And it's cute sweaters, right? Gotta love your sweaters. Love this color combo. You get some of my DNA hair with every try to make sure they're de-haired before they come to you. Now that my hair has gotten so long, let's just like, how do I have hair? Because I'm constantly finding it everywhere. Okay, that's it. There's no B. There's just A. Right. Although Tova has dyed her hair blue and her hair is like, she's growing out for a man bun, which I support. She's got the undercut and it's blue. So occasionally I do find a bright blue hair, which is kind of fun. Also in sweater size. Now this one will be available in sweater and Aran sweater size. So this will be both the sweater size, which you're seeing here, and then my big dude, which is the Aran sweater. So this sweater size I tend to use for like 4 or 5 skein shawl, and like that was something we'd not even heard of 10 years ago, but now it's pretty common. Or I use it for me, again, big lady, lots of surface area. I use this for like a fingering weight or sport weight sweater for me, or like when I'm starting a sweater. It's quite spacious. Well, you can see this one has got yarn in it. It's quite... There's some room in there, y'all. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Isn't this sweet with the little houses, little gifties? And you have a secret snowman on this one. He's down here. He's so cute. Okay, so that is all for the October 25th update. So that's October 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, November 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be these bags. No sock. Large wedge. Sweet little dears. How cute are they? Oh, they're little tomato colored scarfsies. Sweater size. Sweet woodland animals. She got some owls and some bunnies and some deers, and some squirrels and some foxes and some bears. Oh my gosh. And I love this color combo. I mean, I love this scummy green in the middle of it. So good. And then, look at these guys. And at first you're like, yeah, oh my gosh, those birds are so cute, but look at all the mushrooms, y'all. Secret mushrooms. Yet not at all secret, because they're quite big and quite bold. But just don't read them at first. Look how cute those are. So it's like the red aqua amazingness. Red and aqua so good together. Plus you got birds. Plus you got mushrooms. Oh my gosh. What is even happening, y'all? Okay. Then Aaron sweater. Are you ready for it? Okay, I'll show you this one. Aaron sweater, what? So this is another one that I've done a few years ago. This super cute chalet fabric. I want this coffee pot so bad. But it's got super cute woolies on it. That sweet fat bird. And some foxes and some tigers and some cute snowy chalets, y'all. And some skis if that's who you are. That's not who I am, but I'm all these other things. Love it. So cute. And then also an yarn sweater. This was my surprise fabric of the season that I did not know I was going to love as much as I do. To this super sweet Sleepy Robin knee thing. All of the mushrooms, all of the poinsettia, all of the holly, the berries, the mistletoe. It's all there, kids. There's your winter woodland playground. Love it. Dig it. So that's it. October 25th, November 1st. Spam, spam, spam. Okay. So now let's do prizes, y'all. Okay, let's do Patreon, PayPal, Ko-Fi prizes. Okay. Okay. So here are our prizes. Okay, the first prize winner will the first prize winner will receive this natural dye sample kit from Colorscape Studio that I purchased at our wool gathering. Oh my lord. It's okay, Gustav. And in it you have your little yarnsies and your little hollyhocks to dye them with. So first prize winner will receive that and a tea towel of their choice. I know, right? It's crazy. Here are the tea towels. I'm going to show you the prizes and then I'll show you and then I'll tell you the people who won. Okay, so in no particular order, we have the ever popular sweater tea towel, okay, for 2020. Love it. Love it. If you love these tea towels, I'm not making them, but you can find all of these designs on Spoonflower. And so we also have the yarn ball tea towel. Right. Or it's the yarn skein tea. What do we call that? It's the yarn tea towel. Yarn tea towel. Oh my gosh, y'all. So these are all calendars because that's just life I want to live. And then the super awesome canning tea towel. Yay. What? Okay. So this is how this works. First winner tells me their choice of what they want. Second winner, first, second choice. Third winner, first, second, third choice. Fourth winner, yay, you get a tea towel. If you would please, either via Ravelry or via email. You can email me at the PayPal address that you donated to, or you can email me at fatsquirrelfibers@gmail.com. Or you can go to my shop's page, Fat Squirrel Fibers, and there's a contact thing, and you can use that. But either way, I need your human name and your mailing address, and then I will send you your prize and your prize preference. First prize goes to Angela W. Oh my gosh. Ange.B, if that's you, you win a prize. Let me know. Sandra E. Sandra E, you won a prize. You're the second prize winner. Send me your first and second choice, please. Jacqueline T. You won a prize. Please send me your first, second, third choice. Okay, I lied. There's actually maybe an extra prize winner. I don't know what I was thinking. Prizes 4 and 5, you will get the tea towel that is remaining. I have others, don't worry. But Jacqueline T, you won a prize. Sarah R. Sarah, if you're also known as Sadie, that's you, because that's possible. There's more than one Sarah are. And Judy E. So Judy and Sarah, just send me your mailing information. Everybody else, send me your prize order preferences. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And that, of course, is a segue to say a big thank you to all the folks who contribute to the financial well-being of me via the podcast. I appreciate it greatly. So greatly. As I receive the bill for my surgery. I greatly appreciate you. Okay. Now, prizes for people who sent in knitted accessories. You don't have to send me your information, but you do need to send me your prize preference. I mean, I have your mailing addresses and your human names, but I do need your preferences of prizes. So let's talk about your prizes. Okay. So since you all sent in yarn, I felt like it was okay to give you yarn as a prize. Does that make sense? Okay. So here are the prizes in no particular order. Feel free to let me know. If you're also like, I hate all of those prizes, we'll work something else out. Okay. Okay, this is the first prize. This is the bestest prize. This is a trio of DK weight from Leading in Fiber Arts. This is their Dramaturge base, which I love. It's 115 grams, so 250 yards of a DK weight. This is It's Cold Outside. Ice Ice Baby is the light blue. And Winter Wonderland is the variegated. Oh. Right. So if you want that one, tell me Leading Men, and I'll get it to you. Right. It had a hair on it. I'm sorry. It was my hair. Okay. So then I thought maybe handspun was an okay thing to give you. If you hate handspun, just tell me, and I have all of this yarn. We can figure out something for you. I'm always hesitant to give handspun for a prize because I am not the best hand spinner, but I would love to get handspun as a prize, so I need to rethink that thought process. So here are possibilities. You could have this one, which I thought is both somehow flower garden-y and kind of Christmassy, but still fun. And it is Gnome Spun de Boulay, It's Not Easy Being Green, and Three Waters Farm Merino, Camellia Forest. And this is 350 yards. It's 8 ounces. So that's one option. I guess I should have prettied them up for you. Sorry, handspun. But it's very squishy and fun. So it's bulky. This one is Into the World Cripple Creek Falkland and Nest Something Wicked Finn. It's also 8 ounces and 534 yards. And then there's this one, which is Hello Yarn Rambouillet Dragging Heels. 8 ounces, 543 yards. So if you want either of those free prizes, just let me know. Or if you hate them, let me know. But here are the prize winners. So again, same thing. First prize winner, tell me what you want. Second prize winner, first, second choice. Third prize winner, first, second, third choice. In this case, because there's an extra prize. Okay. First winner. Did I say which one was my first winner? All right. Crystal R. Crystal R, you won a prize. Tell me your first choice and I'll send it to you. Michelle P, you won a prize. First and second choice, then I'll send it to you. Michelle P. And Tara B. Third prize. First, second, third choice, y'all. Send out your prize wishes. Or again, if you hate any of those, don't be ashamed to tell me. I understand. Not everybody likes handspun. So those are our prize winners. Thank you all. It was super fun. Tova and I, we kind of like just let everything accumulate because I was afraid to take anything out of its packaging. I was afraid they would get separated from who sent them and then I wouldn't be able to find a dress. That was our whole thing. But also it's just for safety. So they all accumulated in the corner, and at one point my husband thought they were returns and I was like, honey, there's like 30 things there. He's like, I don't know. Okay, fine. You knew how to fix the bolt of the toilet, even though you don't know your colors. So Tove and I like waited until a week and a half after the time I had asked them to send in by, so I felt like everything had come in. Then we took them all into the dining room, and we both opened together and like kept record of who sent what, or who sent how many things, and it was really cool for not only for me to get to see what you guys had sent in, but for her to see it, and it was really nice. So not only is it fun that I get to send these on now, but it was fun being the receiver of them. So yeah, it was very cool. I really appreciate it. And again, if you do want to still knit some stuff, you can find that information on Clara Park's Instagram feed. Okay. Okay. I'll just show you what the picture looks like. I just feel like, I just gotta make it as easy as possible. Or in fact, I'll just put the address up on the screen, and then you can be like, oh yeah, freeze frame, and I'll do that. Okay. So this is Clara Parks. This is her. This is the thing it's under, in case you're like looking and you're not here. But if you are here, I will put people's comments below, because I don't know if that's okay to show that or not. But here's the address. Screenshot it if you need to, y'all. And you can get stuff to them there. All right. Okay, I think that's all for today. Was enough, right? I'll talk to you next time. Bye.